Hey, what's up, everybody? POA here. Before I open this wonderful box of Double Masters 2022, because it's going to be fun, and specifically, this set is proving a reality to reprints, and different than I think a lot of people think. So, if we go back in time to reprints, like when they came out with the first Modern Masters 2013, whatever it was, right? Tarmogoyf was what, like close to $200 card, whatever it was. Everybody in the world wanted it because it was used in Modern until what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? When did Tarmogoyf kind of stop being a menace in Modern? I know Murktide Regent kind of put the kill to it, but then they reprinted it. Right, price goes down because then you added more copies into the market. Now, yes, then it took a while until they printed it again. When was the next printing after that? It wasn't Iconic. It wasn't M20. I don't think it was M25. Was it? That's a good question. I know that then most recent one Time Sprouted Remastered, right? But what killed Tarmogoyf wasn't the reprintings. It was the fact that, okay, let me rephrase that. Yes, the price over time did go down some, but then it kept recovering, right? So it goes down, recovers, goes down, recovers, goes down, recovers. Yeah, it never still quite hits the same high because you keep adding more copies, but there are more players than ever before, and so if it had held the same usage, Tarmogoyf would still be a damn expensive card now, even with multiple masters or remastered set type reprintings. But nobody plays Tarmogoyf anymore. It's somehow still a $13 card, even though nobody plays with the freaking thing. That's like a price memory thing right there, but nobody plays with it. Liliana the Veil. What was Liliana the Veil before the reprint? It got expensive at one time. God, that card started to get toward $70, $80 a pop with after really around the time of Double Masters. OG Double Masters. And then, but it's seeing itself not get much play, right? So it had gone kind of stagnant anyway, which means nobody was really buying copies, but nobody was really selling copies either. It just became a stagnant card. And because of it, it was kind of trickling down in price, even though no copies were added into the market. So no copies got added in, and it started to see itself go down to 60, down to 55, down to 50, because people weren't buying them. And eventually there are sellers out there like, okay, yeah, nobody, some people that are tuned in anywhere, like, yeah, nobody, Liliana the Veil has been power crept out of the game. So let's go ahead and mark down some of these copies and get them sold. And sure enough, then they put it in standard, which frankly was the right play. It's not seeing play in the other formats, so you might as well put it in a format where it will see play. So it became a $12 standard card. Okay, makes sense. But recently with Commander Masters, there's been just an absolute amount and barrage of hate around the reprints. Now, let me state, perhaps you do not need 2 reprint sets a year. Both Dominaria Remastered and Commander Masters in the same year, whether or not they even want to call Remastered a Master set, it is. It's a reprint set. That's what you've done with reprint sets. You call them Master sets, right? You've set that up years ago. So you've done 2 in 1 year, and unfortunately there's a whole bunch of cards that were in Dominaria Remastered that didn't even have to be in that product. But you did, and frankly it was still a cool product if it's a little top-heavy, right? It's a little top-heavy from a box opening experience, but it's still a cool product. Like, it's a cool product, man. Dominaria Remastered is a cool product. But anyway, then you took a bunch of those cards and you started to add them to Commander Masters too. Yeah, that's now too much. But what the hard part is, there are some cards that can withstand such a blow, and then there are cards that can't even withstand one reprinting, right? So does that mean you don't reprint it? I think cards like Song of the Dryads is going to be a wonderful example of this. Awesome card. It's, in a way, kind of green removal. Kind of. Not full removal, but you know what I mean. And it's like $12, and it was on the list for a little bit too. But the list doesn't add that many copies. except for my next example. Yeah, it was like $12 card. Will it go down to being a $5 card, and will it recover? I don't know actually. I don't believe it. Like, to me, I don't believe it will. I think it'll go down to 4 or 5. When I look at copies sold on the market, it is not a fast moving card. People are not hunting them at $12 each. They'll sell. I mean, people will buy them once in a while. You can see that, but it's not a fast moving card by any means. So it's means the demand's not as high. That's why it's $12, even though it's barely been printed. So you're going to print that again. It's probably going to go down to $4 or $5. In fact, I think I would almost say more probably toward 4 would be my just guess, shot in the dark guess, just based on the demand for it now. So can it stand that reprint? Yeah. I mean, it's still going to be a cool $4 pull. I'm like, that's just still going to be kind of a cool pull, right? It's not anything you're going to freak out about, but it's still going to be like, oh, cool, Songs of the Dryads. Song of the Dryads. Great. Good card. The trick there will be is if then they try to reprint it again quickly. And that's where they're running into the issues now, right? If you take cards like that, and it's not going to be able to stand another reprint for quite some time, probably years. It's not going to be able to absorb another blow to it from a reprint equity standpoint for quite some time. So you have to chill on that. Then there's other ones, like saying Double Masters. We had Sensei's Divining Top, right? Not all that long ago, Sensei's Divining Top was starting to approach $60 a card. Yeah, like, I mean, there was already a fair amount of copies of that card out there, but we have to keep in mind, of course, Commander players and Commander players' needs to build like 30 decks, and then most Commander players I find hate sharing cards between decks if they don't have to. And let me state that, if they don't have to, right? Yeah, if you have a Mana Vault, I can see you doing it, but you know what I mean. Most would prefer not to. They prefer not to have to tear that deck apart and put that card over in that deck and blah, blah, blah. A few people I've talked to have been like, that's why I buy all the same colored Dragon Shields. So that way I can just take it and put it in whatever. I'm like, that's smart. That's a smart play. But Sensei's Divining Top then saw one of the biggest list prints in New Capenna when they lowered it to like, 50-something cards that you could pull in total. So it actually had our actual real reprints off the list. Like, most of the time, the list is 300 plus cards, and you only get a few per box. It's not a real large addition to the card pool. Sensei's Divining Top came out, and it shot down at that time. Like, God, I think I bought like 1 or 2 of those list copies for, I think they got down to like $25 or something like that, right? Then they very quickly put it in Double Masters 2022. Didn't take long. And it barely budged. It went down to like 20. Maybe it got just a shred below that at its lowest. I don't know its exact low point. But you know what Sensei's Divining Top is doing? It's going up. You know what Ulamog's doing? It's going up. You know what Kozilek is doing? It's going up. Cards that see lots of play will recover as long as you give it a little time between reprints. And if you don't reprint it, Kozilek will be a $100 card and nobody can afford it. Unfortunately, Magic is a game of balancing the two sides. You want to maintain a collectability, but you also need people to actually be able to play the stupid game. Yes, then some will argue that that's why you buy proxies. Proxies are part of the reprint. Proxies are part of the price problem, people. God, that's a lot of P's. You realize that. Now, not everybody out there is proxying. And I'm not against proxying. Let me state that for the record. The only time I'm ever against proxying is when somebody wants to proxy like a Time Twister. I mean, come on. If you want to play with a Time Twister, then Annie the heck up and buy a copy. That's just silly to me. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and Annie this $10,000 card. No. But you want to Annie your fetch lands, go nuts. Or proxy your fetch lands, go crazy. I don't care. But besides that point, proxies are also making it that people then don't have to buy the copies of the cards, right? And there are people out there that are perfectly good with it. I'm good with people playing with proxies. I have no problem with it. Everybody's in a different segment of what they can or are willing to put into the game. But in the end, people still want to play the game. And I have no problem with that. Those are those people in that other end where like they really don't want to pay the money on like, a $30 Kozilek. I understand it. It's a stupid piece of cardboard. You spent $30 on it, right? It's not a little sum of money for a lot of people. Yeah, so I think that in the end, that's kind of where I'm going with it. There's no right or wrong answer to any of this. They are going to have to watch themselves on how much they reprint. And right now, in Dominaria Remastered sold well at first, and it's very clear it's done very poorly since. If Commander Masters doesn't do great, God, this is going to sound so defeatist. I know it. If Commander Masters doesn't do great, it's going to send a signal to WotC that perhaps they should slow the heck down on the reprinting. Maybe you need to make new cards. But I have a feeling set's not going to do poorly. It's loaded. It's loaded with playables that haven't been printed in a long time. A perfect example is, of course, besides even the Ikoria Free Cycle and the Medallions, it's cards like Arachnogenesis. Arachnogenesis just darn near got close to touching $70 a card because Shelob comes out and like everybody wants to build, or should say lots of people wants to build a Shelob deck, but like Arachnogenesis was in Commander 24, I think it was, or 14? No, we're not even near 24 yet. Commander 14. Officially, it's fiscal year 24. I apologize. So, Commander 14, I think. I'm probably wrong. There could be 13. I don't know for sure. But then that card shot up like crazy because there's not that many copies out there, right? So that became a very high demand. But I'm excited for a copy of that, even if it goes down to $15, which I have a feeling it'll do. It's still going to be a really good pull. Let's face facts here. That's a rare. It's going to be $15. That's awesome, right? Even if it cut. And so I know there's going to be those people out there that are going to say it. And they're going to drive me crazy. This is going to be a longer rant, obviously. That card went down 70%. Rah! I'm losing all my value. It was never the correct value for that card. It was never going to stay at $65. You understand that, yes? No, you clearly do not. Even if they didn't print it, eventually that card won't be so powerful anymore. Then this takes you to that Tarmogoyf thing. We're going all the way back around again. Every single thing that's in here will eventually be power crept out of the game. If the game keeps going, which right now it seems like actually it's quite healthy, according to Wizards stock reports, or at least they're part of the stock reports anyway, not Hasbro as a whole, but Wizards is doing great. So all of those cards, anything that is modern playable, pioneer playable, standard playable, is eventually going to go down in price because it's going to be power crept like Tarmogoyf. Why would you play with Tarmogoyf if I'm not going to play with Legend Shredder? Right? It's truth. It's truth, right? Arachnogenesis isn't always going to have its day in the sun. Yeah, Teferi's Protection is still the best of the protect all your stuff, but man, they've been printing some things that are trying to compete. And in certain cases, some of those might actually be a little bit better. So anyway, 14 minutes in, let's open some Double Masters. While filming this, I have to admit, since I am doing less videos per week, I'm actually contemplating adding prices to a video or two. I'm contemplating it. Might try it out. Since I'm doing less content, it'd be a little bit easier to actually edit a video or two. Same time, I can't see myself doing it all the time. There's going to be times where I'm busy with real life. I just don't have time to do that. Okay, pack number one. I can tell you all what I'm kind of hoping for, but let's just open it up, see how we do. You know what? I'm gonna. There we go. Better. All right. Oop, stay. All right. We have a worm, and then Curtis Spires. Oh my God! Hey, foil Muldrifter borderless. That's cool. Annoyed Altasaur. He's so annoyed. Ashen Rider. Okay. And Revelark. Conclave Mentor. Graveblade Marauder. Okay. Pack number 1 in the books. So, of course, Open Masters Draft. I argued back when the set came out that this was the way to open this product, and a lot of people did not agree with me. They were all about those collectors, and I was like, nah, the draft box. These are the thing. And I have been correct ever since. Thought Scour. Eye Blight and Needs, and I have to admit I'm having that same feeling right now about Commander Masters. I'm actually more excited about those draft packs. Yeah. We'll see. Phyrexian freaking Altar. Yeah, so another great example. This card was close to hitting $90 until the reprint. And this card has been seeing itself now slowly creep up. And if it goes a couple years, 3 years without a reprint, it's going to hit. It's probably going to hit at least 70 or 80 again, if it never hits 90 again. It is an incredibly popular commander card that goes in so many decks. Awesome hit. You know, I really don't need a land area here, do I? You know what? Let's do it there. Okay. Lavalanche. Now, I know people complain about cards like this because they're doing it once again with Commander Masters, and while I kind of understand, they're also trying to take pride in creating a draftable experience, and cards like this play into that. And not every card can be a hit. Otherwise, frankly, you will have even more to complain about from a reprint equity standpoint. So not every card can be a home run. It's just not the way. You can't design a box that way. Because if you do that, then nothing will be a hit, right? That's how it works. Maul Drifter and Dimir Aqueduct. Oops. It's been weird negativity, especially from the YouTube community around Commander Masters. It is bothering me, admittedly. It is bothering me. It's oh God, one channel. Oh my God. Actually said Commander Masters is going to do terrible and all the prices are going to crash because Commander players only need one copy. And I heard that. I'm like, you don't know Commander players at all. You clearly don't play Commander. You've never met Commander players. Oh my God, no. That isn't how Commander players operate. That's why Commander, if you ever watch Heroes and Legends, right, in which John is amazing, his channel's spectacular, he covers market movements, and he does it in a wonderful fashion. He's amazing. And I know viewers of my channel do watch him too, and he's great. I look forward to his next video. Anyway, he shows it all the time how much Commander drives the singles prices. And it's not just people buying one copy. Oh my God! I don't understand it. I don't get it. Aether Vial. See, there is a card that is seeing less play, right? So that's another example of a card that, God, for a while there, this was like over $40. And Iconic Masters it was definitely over $30. I think it might have been hitting 40. But it's not really seeing play right now. So it's, what is this right now? Like $8, $9. Still a good pull though. Still very, very happy to pull it. And Bring to Light. And it's got that awesome artwork. Path to Exile. I love the deck fading, reaching in, stealing the vial. Is it Charm? Okay. Yeah, I'm confused. The only negativity that I'm okay with, personally, and while everybody can have their opinions and all that good stuff, the boxes are really expensive. The set boxes are, after tax, pretty much $400. Draft boxes are pretty much $300 and change. It's an expensive product, and that part I fully understand. Stagger Shock, and some people want to rip a box. Right? I mean, look what we're doing here. Fiery Justice, Wiltleaf Liege, Devoted Druid, Bant Charm, and the Rod Farm. Love it. That's basically just becoming uncommons that I'm really happy to pull another copy of. Anyway. Yeah. With that type of box price, and Double Masters, like Double Masters was the same price, 2022. And people didn't give that same type of outrage. Draft boxes of this were $300. So draft boxes of Commander Masters are kind of the same as this. The set boxes are only the new thing, and frankly, they kind of look ridiculous. So we'll see. We'll see if it's worth the money. But they clearly added more slots, and you are definitely getting more rares and mythics out of a set box, which is why they're charging so much more. I get it. Bant Charm. Spy. Forbidden Orchard. And Yahenni. There's a card that didn't necessarily need a reprint, but it is great in this environment, and it is also a good card. So, that's cool. But yeah, so, you know, where was I at? What was I talking about? I don't know. I'm rambling. Yeah, the prices. Skeleton Archer. Disciple of the Ring. And Magister Sphinx. Inquisition of Kozilek, which I didn't know that went down to bulk. Crazy. It is a really expensive set. It is not more expensive than Double Masters 2022. And again, I didn't hear the outrage then, but I know for a fact, actually, for a lot of people out there, the economic conditions have only actually gotten worse, even though the stock market's starting to go back up, which then eventually that will mean better economic conditions for everybody. So things will be backing it up, but this came out a year ago. Yeah, a year ago. And things definitely have changed enough that Commander Masters now feels more expensive to people. And I get that. Emrakul. Okay, not the Titan I want, but it is the Titan I got. Or Eldrazi. Yeah, Eldrazi Titan. Whatever they call him. That's an okay pull. I can't play him. I can't use him. Hey, Eternal Witness and the cool artwork. Hostage Taker. All right, so we have one mythic in, and I'm taking my sweet time. This is gonna be like a 40-minute video. It's gonna be nuts. 15 minutes of it was just me rambling. You know, people have said they want me to ramble more. Hey, foil Bloom Tender borderless. That is really cool. That's awesome. That, again, another card that Bloom Tender was what, like close to $30 before this reprint, and it went down to like $8. I think it might be a little over 10 now because it's also recovering. It needed a reprint, and it's going to take some time, right, until your value. But once again, it is a modern playable card, and eventually it's going to be power corrupt. So keep that in mind. Wizards has to like, yeah, nice. I could always use more Assassin's trophies. One thing about that is knowing how power creep works. Like they got to get the value out of some of these cards before they can't. Like Tarmogoyf now. Tarmogoyf's not selling any boxes. You had Tarmogoyf as a mythic, and we're just like, fine. It's Tarmogoyf. I still don't own a Tarmogoyf. I've never owned a Tarmogoyf. If I had ever owned a Tarmogoyf before, I would have sold it really quickly. Vampire Sovereign. Eel Umbra. Grand Arbiter. There's another card. God, this thing was like $20 and now it's like $2. It's funny. And Green Sun Zenith, another card that was like $20 and now it's like $7. But again, I know Green Suns is actually slowly going up. I've seen Assassin's trophies are slowly going back up. So there's recovery going on after the reprint, which I think in the end was my point. If a card is still heavily played, which I guess that's the deal with Grand Arbiter, it's just not heavily played, is it? Nobody's really playing it. Nobody wants your taxes. Hardened Scales. Love it. Good to see. Not an expensive card. Cool reprint, though. Zerv. Okay. Prophetic Bolt. Hero of the Games. Anguished Unmaking. This card's been recovering with the quickness. This card has been shooting back up. it's been recovering quite well. Which is amazing considering it had too many, seemingly, it had too many foil etched copies. Which are cool foil etched copies, and I would like to get another one or two. But they also went up, so. Thicker Fist, Surreal Memoir, and Dragon Lord, so Limgar. Okay, that's my second mythic, not a good one. But you are always going to get 1 to 3 bulk mythics per box. Restoration Angel. All right, we are halfway through the box. Admittedly, I am hoping for another Smothering Tithe. Shadowborn Apostle. And foil. Marchesa, the Black Rose. There's another one of those cards that did collapse in price. Hey, Tusk Protection. Cool. Good. Oh, nice. Sweet Azorius Chancery. Thicker Fist. And a little low on the mythic counts, but overall I'm doing quite well on the rares. There is that. So far, anyway. Celestial Sanctuary. God's Willing. Abzan Ascendancy. And we're going to get all the Lieges. Lightning Helix. But yeah, I just wanted to say some words about all this because the negativity that I'm seeing out there, honestly, it's bothering me. It is getting to me. I always ignore it, but they've been overwhelming. Jeskai Charm. Ren! Hello! You know, when I first got into Commander, first deck I built was Omnath, and it was only built because I wanted to put Ren and 6 in it. That deck's no longer together. Obviously, Ren and 6 is one of the best planeswalkers you could possibly get. Super cheap to put out and does actual, real, efficient work. Alright, here we go. Talron, the Sky Summoner at foil. Look, he's a good card in Commander, which is why he's getting yet another reprint again. Because in a limited format, he is actually a pretty good bomb. So there is that. But having said that, I don't need to see any more Talrons ever again. Abbott. And the Planar Bridge, which I'm pretty sure is like a couple bucks, but whatever. All right, last 8. So last 8 packs, we have 3 mythics. These boxes are usually around 6. Maybe a little more than 6, but usually around that point. Relief Captain, Deranged Assistant, Surgical Extraction, okay, and Bedlam Reveler. Spire's Domestication, Domestication, Disfigure, all right, Mythics. Smothering Tithe, though. So, excellent. So, the Altar, Foil, Borderless Bloom Tender, and a Test Protection, and a Tithe. Fantastic. And this is a favorite of mine. Even though it's not... It didn't hold up from the reprint very well, but God, I love me some Hydroid Crisis. Okay. We got 6 packs left? Really? Wow. This is going to be a low mythic box, but you know what? When you give me rares like that, I'm okay with it. If you're not going to give me a lot of mythics, then give me the top end rares, and that's fine. I accept. That, like, the foiling is so good in these boxes. Arachnus Web, Glen Alendra, Skullbriar. Okay. All right. Mana Leak, Embuscade. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a liege count. Rich Car, which is also getting yet another reprint. Like cards like that can't stand a reprint. Like it can't handle it. It's done. So 5 so far. I hope it ends there because we got 4 packs left. Considering there's 10 of them in the set, I guess 5 isn't that crazy. Coiling Oracle. Last Breath. How many foil rares are we at? Well, 2. Okay. Mythic! Oh, shit! Okay, we got Red and 6 in the borderless. Okay, so what it's going to not have in large Mythic counts, it's going to make up for 2 copies of Ren. Hey, Vidal Kadori, which these are now super cheap, too. Those haven't really recovered. Okay, all right, good box, good box. Pontiff, Capture Sphere, get away. Elsha of the Infinite, Jeskai Ascendancy, okay. Fire Mind, Gruul Turf. Okay, 2 packs left. Well, thank you for listening to me rant, folks. I just wanted to share my thoughts on all this chaos. There's no necessarily good answers, and one thing is very clear. Wizards has to keep the spice flowing because Hasbro needs them to. And because Hasbro needs them to, it's not going to change. Regardless of their own personal feelings around it. Their own personal feelings do not matter. Let's just keep that in mind because that's the thing that I think a lot of Magic players out there don't really understand. Their personal feelings don't matter, folks. Business. Your feelings don't matter in business. I don't know if you know that or not. They don't. What matters is bottom lines, especially when you're a publicly traded company. That's what matters. And yeah, you try to take care of the people that work for you and all that good stuff, but in the end, it's the bottom line. That's what it is. I think a lot of Magic players really don't get that. They say words like they do, but they really don't get it. The worst thing that ever happened to Wizards was getting acquired by Hasbro. Ulamog. Sweet. Okay. And then Tariel. But at the same time, getting acquired by a large company like that allows you to put sizable amounts of money into growing a subject. So there's no right or wrong here, folks. Everything in life has positives and negatives, every single thing. In the end, you're trying to be more on the plus side than the negative side. That's the goal of everything. All right, last pack, folks, and then we can move on from my rantings. Really just felt like ranting tonight. Glory. All right. So we got 5 mythics, which is low. We've done very, very well in the rares, but since we are low in the mythics, we've actually done well with the mythics we've gotten. So what possibly could this last pack contain? I don't know. As foretold. Okay, another lower end mythic. And then we're going to finish the box on a Talrand. You know what, Talrand? I accept you being there since, frankly, this box overall was quite good. This was quite the good box. So I'm quite happy with this one. Even if it didn't hit box price, which I don't believe it did, but I also don't care. In the end, it's you can't open a box expecting to hit box price, especially 2 months to a year after it comes out. You can't expect that. You're asking for something that you should really. And Wildcat MTG always puts this in his videos. Your hope should be for 80% of the box price. In which case, then you did okay. Yeah, you hope to do over 100, but that's a rarity. That shouldn't be your expectation. And if that is your expectation, those are the people that get mad every time they open a box. This is probably about the 80. And I'm quite pleased with the spread I have here. I'm actually very, very happy with it. This is 2 Rens, Ulamog, a whole bunch of awesome rares I was hoping to get another copy of. So I am quite pleased with what's going on here. Not everybody would be, though. Some people would be like, I didn't get an Imperial Seal.